This is boring, but it will get you jacked in the next 180 days. You've probably seen guys all over Instagram and YouTube building insane physiques and making crazy transformations fast, and wondering why you can't seem to make any progress yourself. And before you say it, it's not genetics and it's not luck. Every single one of them, including myself, follow this boring yet ridiculously effective approach I'm about to break down for you that 99% of people don't know. Regardless if you're fat, skinny fat, or built like a twig, what I'm about to show you will make anyone build muscle and lose fat over the next 6 months. Because if you do this, it is scientifically impossible you do not achieve your dream body. Get a piece of paper and a pen. Over the next 10 minutes, I'm gonna break down in depth on a Miro board the exact system you need to transform your life and body. Honestly, this video will not be exciting, but I guarantee if you watch this and follow the strategy, you will build muscle fast. So let's dive in. Let's be honest, you clicked on this video for a reason. You are unhappy with the way your progress is going, the way you currently look, or the way you feel on a day-to-day basis, or how you actually view yourself. We are gonna change that today. I'm gonna show you how easy it is for you to get jacked in 2025 if you just understand these fundamentals, and it doesn't matter what your starting position is. Some of you probably already been going to the gym for a little bit, not seeing the progress you want. Some of you haven't even started yet, and that's totally fine. We're gonna make it as simple and as easy to understand as possible. So why should you listen to me? Well, this is my physique. I've been training for the last 13 years. I've tried every single training style, and I've simplified it down to the easiest way to get in shape that basically anyone can understand no matter what. And if this isn't enough social proof, or you still don't know why you should listen to me, I'm going to show you why. Here's some of the best transformations I've done over the last year with clients, getting them in great shape and changing their body and their lives. We have different amounts of time frames here, 4 weeks all the way up to 24, and show you how fast you can actually see progress in the gym if you actually start doing the right things and start making every single time you go there and every meal you eat worth it, and it's working towards your goal. So one of these is probably you right now, or very close. You're not the best version of yourself. You have poor self-image. You're lacking confidence. You want better women. You want to be around better people. You want to develop some aura. You want to feel good about yourself, and you want to be proud of the man you are and the things you do on the day-to-day basis. But honestly, how do you expect to stay motivated going to the gym, dieting, if you're not seeing any results? It's not that easy to do something over and over again and see zero reward. And that's totally understandable, and it's ingrained in our brain. If we get rewards, we're more likely to do that same action again. So we're gonna make sure you get that reward and you get your dream body. This is probably where most of you are currently at. You get all motivated, you're like, this is it, I'm gonna get in shape, I'm gonna look like a Chad. You get all motivated like David Goggins, and then you start and you don't see any results because you're not doing the right things and you don't have the knowledge yet. Then after a little bit, maybe another month goes by, you kind of start giving up, and then it's all over and the cycle repeats itself. Maybe you wait another 3 to 5 months and you just can't figure out how people get in crazy shape and make these crazy transformations. But we're going to show you exactly how it's done through the basics of training, dieting, and it doesn't matter if you're skinny, fat, or skinny. I'm going to break down exactly how you can do this regardless of the position you're in. I'm going to give an example for each one. Now, if I'm talking about someone who's fat and you're currently skinny, you should still listen, take some notes, because eventually you may be in a position where you have more body fat, and the knowledge you can gain from a few minutes of this video will make a huge difference in when it comes time to actually make those decisions. For training and nutrition, I honestly think these ones are overcomplicated nowadays, and I'm going to make it as simple as possible so you can literally go to the gym and eat foods that get you results. That's what it's all about. So first thing you need to do when you're training is pick a routine that you can actually adhere to and be consistent with. Consistency and intensity is the name of the game. So if you only have time to go 3 times a week, only set yourself up for 3 times a week. You want to stack wins to keep you motivated and in the gym. If you set yourself at a goal of 5 times a week, maybe you can do it for a week, but then what happens when you start missing a few days? You lose motivation, you fall off, and then you have no discipline. You never actually build the wins to build the discipline. So that's the first thing. The next thing is you want to pick exercises that you actually feel good doing. Now, obviously, no one is going to feel good doing a squat. That's totally understandable. It sucks, and training legs is painful. But I mean exercises that you can connect to the muscle. And we call this the mind-muscle connection. For example, if you're doing a tricep pushdown, you want to be able to connect to your tricep. Now, this is a skill you're going to have to learn, but you should, even when you're beginning, be able to feel the muscle working. Some exercises are going to work differently for other people. We all have different biomechanics, basically different builds, limb lengths, body heights, all these things, as you probably already know. So find exercises that work good for you. And when you're beginning, just focus on compound movements, things that work multiple muscle groups at once. A few good ones: pull-ups, dips, RDLs or a deadlift variation. Incline press can be dumbbell, machine, Smith machine, barbell, doesn't really matter. A shoulder press and a squat variation. Could be a hack squat, pendulum, Smith machine, squat, barbell, same as the incline press. Now, the most important factor we need to focus on when we are training is progressive overload. That means we are putting more tension or stress on the muscle every single week. Basically, that means you're either increasing the reps or the weight. And I have a little example here. Week 1, you start at 200 pounds, you're doing 8 reps. The next week, you go for 9. Let's say you get 9 easily, even go for 10. Week 3, you get 10, and then you've hit the top of your rep range, so you increase the weight to 205 and you get 8 reps. And we want to make sure every single set we're doing is in close proximity to muscular failure, meaning our form isn't breaking down, we're not getting all janky on there, but we want to make sure we're at least 1 to 2 reps of failure. And the most important thing you can really do when you're starting is just going all the way to failure so you know what it feels like. Big tip here: if you're training, recording your sets is going to help you a ton with your form. And be honest and be critical with yourself. Watch YouTube videos, watch people on Instagram if you have to, and just make sure that your form actually looks good and you're controlling it the whole way through the movement. There's no parts of the movement where the weight's just flying up and then you're catching it on your limbs and tendons. We don't want to be doing that. Rep ranges to build muscle: anywhere, honestly, from 6 to 20. You could go as low as 5, you could go as high as 30, but I think 6 to 20 is a good rep range. And that's really as simple as it is. Pick exercises you enjoy, pick a routine you like, stick to that routine, do the exercises in the same order, and focus on progressive overload, and you will build muscle as long as your nutrition is in the right place. And that's what we're going to be talking about next. Nutrition is another thing that is overcomplicated these days. You don't need intermittent fasting. You don't need keto. You don't need low carb. You don't need high fat. You don't need low protein. You just need a balanced macronutrient profile that is good for your goals, whether you're bulking, cutting, or just recomping or maintaining. It doesn't matter. We want an enjoyable, flexible diet that even if you're going out, even if you're on vacation, you can still hit your goals. And this is exactly how you're going to do it. So first of all, no processed food. Cut that shit out. Protein bars, cereals, you don't need that. You need whole foods, which basically means it's single ingredient. A potato is a potato, rice is rice. There's no complications. Anything else is just going to be hard for your body to digest, and it's not real food. So what I like to do, and I think is the easiest to approach and actually follow, is a hybrid of the vertical diet. The vertical diet was created by Stan Efferding. He was a bodybuilder, powerlifter, super strong guy, yada, yada, yada. But basically, we take the base of this and create it kind of personalized for you and give it a little bit more options, because the vertical diet can be somewhat limited and hard to follow and expensive. So we'll find options that anyone can do at any price point. Well, not any price point. If you have no money, well, then that's your problem. But we also need to understand that having a diet that you can go out to restaurants and basically any type of food, Lebanese, sushi, Japanese, Italian, Greek, doesn't matter. You can find options that are going to help you work towards your goal without derailing your progress. So we need to understand the basics of macronutrients, so protein, carbs, and fats. And these are all essential for your body's function. So without one of these, you're not going to be operating the best way you can. And you need to make sure you have a good balance of all of them. I'm going to go into that. So first of all, how many calories do you need to eat? That is a question everyone seems to want to know. The best way to find your maintenance calories, honestly, is do your body weight in pounds times 14 to 16, depending on how active you are. If you're not active at all, 14. If you're very active, 16. Now, we're going to go a little bit more in detail on this later because different situations can come up. But basically, you want to have at least a gram of protein per pound of body weight. 30 to 50% of the rest of the calories is going to be from carbs, and then 15 to 30% is fats. And there's a little example there. Let's say you're 150 pounds, you're eating 2,500 calories, 150 protein, 300 carbs, 77 grams of fat. Very straightforward. I'm going to show you guys a little sheet. So this is the vertical diet. Basically, it's different versions, different types of red meat, rice, the easiest carb to digest, sweet potato, vegetables, some fruit, bone broth, salt, Greek yogurt. As simple as it gets, and eggs. So I've made a few food sheets here with a few more options that is more accessible for most people. And so I recommend taking a screenshot of this or writing these down, because these are going to help you a lot, and it gives you a little bit more options. For example, you could do Greek yogurt, dark chocolate with some almond butter, a scoop of protein, and then maybe some cream of rice in there to give it a little crunch, and you don't cook it. There's an option right there. Great dessert. I have it every single day. Tastes good. It's not on the vertical diet, but it basically is the same thing. All right, so you are currently fat, you're overweight, you're obese, and you're high body fat percentage. We need to go in a calorie deficit and make sure we can get that fat off so we can build muscle and look handsome and feel good about ourselves. So first of all, we need to go into a calorie deficit. That basically means we're eating less calories than our maintenance, which I spoke about earlier. So to get our maintenance, again, your body weight in pounds times 14 to 16. Now, to go lower than that, we just remove some calories. So I have an example there. Remove 300. Great. We're in a calorie deficit. Not a huge one, but we're in one. There's an example. 220 pounds times 14 equals 3,080 calories to maintain this current physique, which you don't want to do, and that's why you're watching this video. So we're going to subtract 300, and then you have 2,780. Now, we can create a larger calorie deficit with cardio and daily activity. So if you do 10,000 steps a day, which is the easiest form of cardio to do, it doesn't make you sore, it doesn't make you feel tired, and it actually improves your mental state. It'll burn 300 to 500 calories. Now, if you have an active job, you're going to probably burn some calories just in your day-to-day. And if you like to frolic outside, that also burns some calories. Now, cardio-wise, I recommend doing a minimum of 80 minutes a week. So this can be on a incline treadmill, Stairmaster, elliptical. I can't tell you what incline and speed to do because it's going to depend. Someone who has excess body fat, they don't move around a lot, their heart rate is going to be a lot higher. It's going to get higher easier. So you want to aim for 120 to 130 beats per second. Now, you can't always measure that. So just before it's really difficult to start speaking is usually a good way to rule of thumb. So what actually causes fat loss? So first of all, a calorie deficit. How do we create a calorie deficit? Daily activity, exercise, and food. So obviously you eat less food, we're going to have less total calories. Therefore, we're going to be burning more fat. Whole foods, not processed. That means you can eat more food and be less hungry. They're higher in volume typically. Exercise, if we lift weights, aka resistance training, we're going to build more muscle. The more muscle we have on our body, the more calories we're going to burn while resting. And then obviously cardio burns calories, which in fact burns fat. All right, and then daily activity, already went over this, but basically that is the simplest way to explain fat loss. Those are the three things you want to be focusing on, and it's that simple. Obviously, you want to be sleeping at least 7 to 8 hours a night as well. Now, here's a scenario that is actually quite common, and this is a tricky one, but I'm going to solve it here for you now. So you're doing all of these things, you're eating very few calories, and you're still fat, and you're not seeing any progress. Basically, what happens is people crash diet, and their metabolism adapts along with it. So if you've been under-eating your food, let's say eating 1,700 calories a day, your metabolism has adapted to that. So if you do your maintenance calories, nothing's going to change because your maintenance calories is going to be a lot higher than that. So basically what we have to do is slowly build up our metabolism over time, and then we can start the fat loss. That means you are going to have to forget about dieting and losing fat, but that's just the reality of the situation. Would you rather lose it in 4 to 8 weeks, start the fat loss, or never start it? So you got to pick which one. So here's a little diagram just to explain that for you. Each week, you're going to slowly, very slowly, while tracking your macros, increase your calories. If you're not tracking your macros, you have no idea how much food is going in your body. So each week, increase it by 200. Then you can start the fat loss phase and start pulling calories off of your diet, adding in cardio, increasing that over time, and doing your daily steps. So if you're fat, overweight, high body fat percentage, this is what you want to do. And if you have been doing that, you're dieting, you're being honest with yourself, you're tracking your food, and you're not seeing the progress you want, this is probably the reason why. This one is for the skinny lads. You guys are low body fat percentage, you lack muscle, we need to build muscle. How we're going to be doing that is going in a calorie surplus, which is the opposite of the one we just watched, which was a calorie deficit for people overweight with too much body fat. So very simple. It's the exact opposite. Maintenance calories, body weight times 14 to 16, add calories. Let's start at 300. That'll put us in a fairly decent calorie surplus enough for us to build muscle. It's literally that simple. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail here about how to bulk without getting fat and actually putting on significant amount of muscle. So a couple tips here. If you're really, really skinny and you have a really fast metabolism, having one cheat meal a week is definitely fine, and it's going to help you a lot. But this is only for the people that struggle to put on weight and they're extremely skinny with a fast metabolism. That means having a cheat meal isn't, in my opinion, having 3 to 4 pizzas, eating like spaghetti, eating crap. I would recommend having sushi, Lebanese food, Greek food, things that are similar to the diet itself. We want to also keep in cardio. It's going to make us feel better on a day-to-day basis. I already went over the benefits, and we want to aim to gain 0.75 pounds to a pound a week. And you want to eat more dense calories, so it's easier when you're eating more food to get the calories in. Dates are a great option. Rice over potatoes. Honey is also great, but you don't want to overuse it. Cream of rice, and then switch to things like beef and steak rather than chicken because it has more calories from the fats. Now remember, the most important thing is if we are dieting or bulking, we want to make sure our training is on point. If we are not doing this properly, if we are not going in the gym focusing on progressive overload, we will not be making progress. We will not be building muscle, and we will not be working towards our goal. Yes, we will be losing fat, but the goal here is to build a superhero physique. So you need to build the muscle as well, and you can do both. So I'm going to give you guys a little analogy on how you can actually bulk and stay lean. So I call this a runway analogy. Basically, when you are bulking, you want to start at a low enough body fat percentage because you need enough runway. So you need to bulk for long enough to put on the muscle because it takes a lot of time. So first of all, you don't want your bulk to be too short. You don't want to put on a ton of fat, not have enough time to build muscle. And that's the first example right there. You start at 180 pounds at 10% body fat. You eat too much of a calorie surplus. In 10 weeks, you gain 12 pounds of fat and basically no muscle. Now you're just fat and you've basically made zero progress in the gym. That is not what we want to do. A good example would be someone who spent 8 months putting on that same amount of fat, but they were able to build 5 pounds of muscle. And now they're in a position where they have 5 pounds of muscle gained. They can pull back and do a cut and then bulk again if they want to continue or maintain that. And another example is someone who bulked when they were already too high body fat percentage. At a certain point in your bulk, you get diminishing returns. Not only are you going to look worse, you're going to feel worse about yourself, but your health and ability to actually build muscle starts to diminish. And that's right after 17% body fat. And I never recommend anyone goes above that because one, you're just going to look worse, feel worse, not going to be handsome, you're not going to have aura, and it's not really worth it. So you always want to make sure you're lean enough to start the bulk. So bad example, start at 14% body fat. You only have a couple weeks before you get up to 15, 16, 17% body fat, and it's not enough time to actually build the muscle. So what I recommend here is this, is a little diagram of how you bulk for a long period of time, build muscle while staying lean. So what you want to do is start your bulk, add calories slowly over the weeks when needed, when you start going below that 0.75 pound a week region. Do a quick mini cut diet. This can be anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks and make it very aggressive, 500 to 1,000 calories. And then from there, you start going back up. Yes, your body weight's going to fall off, but we're just pulling off excess fat. And as I said, if your training is still good, you will maintain that muscle. And then you do the bulk again, and then you would go into a diet phase. So that is what you should do. If you are currently skinny right now, you need to put on a lot of muscle to get your goal physique. You need to be bulking for a long period of time. And that's how you do it without getting fat. Skinny fat, your high body fat percentage, but you have no muscle on your body. Now, this could be a little bit of a tricky one, but we're going to break it down for you. I do have a full video I'm going to put a link to right here if you want to watch that and how to actually make this transformation. But basically what you want to do in this scenario is, depending on your body fat level, so if you have a lot of excess body fat, we actually want to be in a small calorie deficit because our goal is to build muscle and lose fat at the same time, which is possible. Now, if you don't have a ton of excess fat, we want to eat at maintenance. And I'm going to give you 2 examples of how I did this with clients. So one here is Sam. He did this in 8 weeks. He'd been training for 3 years, didn't see the progress he was wanting to, always had a skinny fat physique and never thought he was going to see his abs. We ate maintenance calories every single day. And honestly, he was not strict with his diet, but he built a ton of muscle. And this is completely naturally. and his body weight is only 1 kilogram less, so 2.2 pounds less. He's put on a ton of muscle. Look, he's got an arm vein, his shoulders and chest look twice as big, and he's seeing his abs as well. So that's an awesome transformation there, an example of someone who didn't have a ton of excess fat, but was able to still do the recomp eating at maintenance calories. Now, this is my other client, Nick. He did a crazy transformation in 14 weeks. So first we ate at maintenance because he had crash dieted, like we had previously mentioned, and his metabolism wasn't doing so well. We first had to get his metabolism up, had him at maintenance, then we went into a calorie deficit. And guys, 14 weeks, that's how fast you can start seeing progress like this and have life-changing results. And not only did these guys make incredible, physical transformations, but also in their personal lives as well. Things completely changed for them financially, the way they felt about themselves, confidence, etc. No need to yap about that too much. But basically, this is the goal, and this is the easiest graph to understand. Our goal right now, if you are skinny fat, is to build muscle and lose fat. That is as simple as it is, and it is possible. You just have to eat around your maintenance calories and tweak it based on how your body is actually responding. It's really that simple. So, if you guys paid attention the whole way through, watch this. This is exactly how you can get jacked in 2025, and it's really that simple. The fundamentals are all there. That's all you need to follow. And if you guys need a little bit more help, click the link below. We'll have a call, we'll game plan, figure out how we can get you jacked as fast as possible, get you in the best shape of your life, and finally stop being average.